So my dude's Valkyr, and today I'm giving my thoughts on the upcoming banners Childe, Rosaria, Barbara, and Fischl, and also the weapon banner. Now, I'm going to say this right away about the weapon banner. The weapon banner, you absolutely do not need to ever summon on one, but if you can use both options are very good for their respective classes between bow as well as not claymore, as well as a book. Bow and Catalyst. Bow and Catalyst, both very, very good options there. They are both solid options, so if you lose, you don't really, like, if you can need both options, it's a decent weapon banner to summon on, because they're both crit rate substats. Crit rate substats, very, very good to have on a weapon, especially 5-star weapon. Skyward Harp is one of the best weapons overall in the game, because it goes both crit rate, crit damage. So, just my opinions on the weapon banner really quick, but once again, let me reiterate, if you are free to play a Lightspender, never ever summon on the weapon banner, ever. There we go. That's that out of the way. Now let's talk about the main banner, Childe. Childe at C0, how good is he? I think he's pretty slept on, but because of his long cooldowns, he ends up being relegated to more of a sub-DPS role, where you'd want to have 2 DPS, or 2 cooldown-reliant DPS, like Xiao and Childe, or Hu Tao and Childe, etc. You'd want something like that kind of setup if you want to run Childe. And if you're wondering, should you summon for Childe, or Zhongli, or Eula, do you really like Childe is essentially the question you have to ask at this point, because this game is extremely easy. It doesn't matter if you have the best units now. All it matters is that you really invest in the units you really like, and you go for the units you really like. So, if you want Childe, by all means, go for him. But at C0, he's going to be relegated to a sub-DPS slot, but he's perfectly fine. Whenever his melee stance is up, he shreds AoE like no tomorrow. It is just massive AoE shred, and he's an absolute monster in that regard. Now, we go on to Rosaria. Actually, let me save Rosaria for last, because Rosaria is going to be the main reason a lot of people summon on the banner. Let's go over Barbara real quick. Barbara is a free-to-play unit. If you haven't built Barbara by now, you're not going to. No reason to ever summon for her. Because if you're not using her now, you're not going to. If you want Constellation for her, then going forward, you can get it. Fischl, once again, a unit that was free in 1.1, no longer free. If you want her, you can get her. She's really, really good as either main DPS with the Fizz Archer, or as a sub DPS by sticking her to the side, just putting Oz out. If you have her at C6, she becomes a monstrous sub DPS, because you can just pop Oz out and just shred out a ton of damage. So Fish is really good in that regard if you're chasing Constellation for her. Then let's go into Rosaria. Rosaria does a lot of things. I made an entire video on Rosaria. She is a slower one, but she can be built one of two ways: either support cryo or Fizz main DPS. Fizz main DPS, she's going to take a lot of investment, but she's going to want items with attack speed, kind of like Skyward Spine, if you have it available, or stuff like that. But she's going to be really good in both roles. She's going to be able to either put down her ult and buff the crit rate of the team, or she's going to be your main damage dealer physical-wise. You'll just need somebody like, I don't know, Fischl to be able to trigger Superconduct constantly. That way you can have the bonus 40% Fizz Res Shred, because everything in-game has a ton of Fizz Res, and that's what makes Fizz kind of but she has ways to shred it, and she has all sorts of steroids throughout her constellations. If you got the constellations, if you just want her C0, then she might be a little bit rough to use as a main DPS, and you might want to go with the support cryo build. Anyways, that's my thoughts on all the units and all the banners. My thoughts on the banner itself: I think it's a pretty bad banner, actually, with Fischl, who was free, and Barbara, who is still free on it. It seems like they just threw Rosaria on it just to get people to summon for Rosaria. If that's the standard going forward, then whenever Yanfei drops, we can expect the Zhongli banner to be equally kind of boo-boo. But we'll see. We'll see going forward. Anyways, it's kind of my thoughts on the banner, kind of my thoughts overall. I'm not going to be summoning on the banner till like a week before it leaves, because I want to save it, and that way I have some content to actually make videos on and stuff like that, by having summons being the content about a week before the banner leaves, because the last 2 weeks of the patch are always absolutely dead. So I'm counting on that happening again, and that's kind of my plan with it. That's why you're not going to see any summon videos for Childe for a while, but I'll probably try to get Childe. We'll see. I don't want to go too deep. If it's making me hit double pity, I don't know how I feel about that one, but we'll see. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for watching as always. I appreciate it, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.